This is the Bitcoin Otter radio show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, everybody. It's another Thursday, a wild, wacky Thursday. To follow up a wild and wacky week. A WWW right there. Wild and wacky week. What I will tell you is that we're going out on KCYP The City 97.7 FM here out of McAllen, Texas. Yes, we are broadcasting from the McAllen Creative Incubator. And we got artists here. We got musicians over there. We got painters, sculptors, and the Otter. Here I am. And if you have noticed, and I'll get into this in a minute, I'm wearing my Buffalo Bills jacket. You know how this is. Anyway, you Buffalonians know this. Anyway, what I'd like to say also is that we're going out on YouTube. We're going out on Facebook Live, okay, both on the 97.7 KCYP channel, page, whatever you want to call it. Also, we're going out on YouTube. Bitcoin Otter, Christopher Ott, that whole deal. We have two apps we're going out on, right? It's Radio Garden and TuneIn Radio. So there's many different ways to check us out. Now, I have been getting not a lot of email. I'll give you that. You guys are pretty conservative with that. But on Facebook, I'm getting a lot of feedback, and I really appreciate that. If you do want to give me feedback via email, because we can get into details there, I'll send you links, videos, et cetera, about all the things that we talk about here, and then some. Bitcoin Otter at secure.com. Bitcoin Otter at secure, SEKUR.com. Thank you. And now on to my my accoutrement here. This is my Buffalo Bills jacket, given to me by a good friend. And this I must sport before our important game, okay? And I'm going to take it off because it's still only 50-something here in South Texas. It's supposed to get cold, but I just had to, parlay a little bit of my Buffalo Bills pride, okay? They're doing very well. We hope them to do even better. So as I'm getting us put up here on both the Bitcoin Otter and Christopher Ott Facebook feeds, I ask you to please have a little bit of patience, and we're going to get into some stuff. Not only are we going to get into some stuff, I'm going to ask you, for your stuff. So let's see what happens here. So I think I'm on, let's see. We'll go Christopher Ott, switch from this onto that. Yeah, I'm getting a little better at this, but it's still not completely without error. So we'll go. We got the Bitcoin Otter going on there, coming up here. Go there. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're on right there. And now I'm going to go to the old switcheroo so I can get on my Christopher Ott page. Let's hope we can do that from here because it doesn't seem to want to let me. There we go. So I'm going to switch profiles here and get onto the Christopher Ott profile, of which we're live. There we are. Wow, me. There's me. Okay, who do we got here? Nobody's popping up yet. Let me see on this one. Nobody's popping up yet, but that's fine because I know that a lot of you watch this in the future, as it were, riding around in your vehicle, doing whatever it is you do every day. And thank you for doing it. So we're going to go into our basic, this is my personal opinion of our barometer, our economic barometer, if you will. So I believe that now that we're going into real money, and I'm talking about the Bitcoin, we should start with that as the barometer. So I used to start with gold, silver, and then Bitcoin. But, I'm going to start with Bitcoin from now on and then silver because it's easier for people like you and I to buy, you and me. And then gold. We'll go to gold. And then, we'll go on from there. But Bitcoin was about $100,000 for one of them. And if you've been watching for a while, we've been on about 3 years now. About 3 years, going on 3 years. And man, when we started, Bitcoin wasn't nearly this valuable. Well, actually, it was, but it just wasn't priced into the Bitcoin, right? And yeah, we can go into that at some time. But the fact of the matter is, it takes 100,000 Federal Reserve notes to buy yourself one Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that you can't buy Bitcoin unless you buy one. No. You can buy fractions. In fact, I am nowhere near a whole Bitcoin. So every once in a while, I throw, a few dollars in there to get me some Bitcoin. Now, silver is also a good buy. In fact, it's not only stable, it's also expected to blow up. Why? Well, because it's suppressed. The price is illegally suppressed by the usual suspects, the ones that put the screws to you and me. Government agencies. Yeah, they're doing it to us again. Anyway, the SEC is not nice, and it's really not all that honest. So they have screwed down the silver price to $31.04 an ounce right now. Gold, the same thing, but gold is not as, it's not the powder keg that silver is. Why? Because silver is not only finite, silver is not only a precious metal, but it's an industrial metal used in many, many things, including solar panels, which, you or I might not own them, but a lot of people do. Or better said, they're very much subsidized by the government. Therefore, solar panel companies survive. If they were not subsidized, different story. However, gold is at $2,725 for 1 ounce of those. Those are Federal Reserve notes. And the average mortgage rate, for those of you that might be forced into buying a home right now, because I can't see people really chomping at the bit unless you're in California, and then you're really screwed. I'm sorry to put it that way, but you're in California, and the natural state of being in California is the screwed state. So the 30-year rate average across the country, 7.04, no bueno. The 15-year locked-in rate is not much better at 6.35. So as you can see, it will not be that easy to get any sort of deal, on a mortgage. And a mortgage, what is a mortgage? It's actually an engagement with mort, which is French for death. So hopefully we're going to see some sort of financial freedom around the corner. And I think that our hopes are well founded. I would say so. What I'm going to do is look for some comments here. And I want to tell you guys something that I am witnessing. I'm a witness to this. My feed or my announcements, my weekly announcements of, hey, we're going to have a show, they don't go very far because, well, while Schmuckerberg is, I guess he's turning. I think he's been turned by the good guys. Who knows? He's met with Trump at least once at Mar-a-Lago, maybe twice. I'm not exactly sure. But the fact of the matter is he's claiming that they're going to stop this fact-checking BS. They're going to do some things different. But I'll tell you what, it's still Facebook, ladies and gents. The usual suspects still own that sphere. And at some point, and I keep saying this, we will go to a place where we can say what we want to say whenever we want to say it. But what I'm getting to is that I don't think my broadcast is so very broad at this point. So hopefully people who know we're going to be on, Matt's watching, Jim's watching. All right, we got this on the Bitcoin Otter, and then the Christopher Ott right now I don't see anybody on it, but perhaps we are. Anyway, we got some people on. Thank you very much for watching yet again the Bitcoin Otter show. So I'm going to go with my verse, right? Not mine, of course. This is what God told us in Proverbs 10:11. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but violence overwhelms the mouth of the wicked. So however much, I guess this teaches me, however much I want to respond violently to these people who are crushing our nation under a wave of crime, corruption, and evil deeds in general, I can't be violent in that way. I mean, I certainly will be if you're threatening my family. But as far as politics go, you know what? We just have to speak rationally and try to reach across the table to those people who don't quite see things our way. Because unless they're politicians in Washington, D.C., then they're real humans. And we need to talk to them. Now, politicians in D.C., they don't need violence right now. If anything, a legal procedure needs to be put in place to bring them to heel in terms of the Constitution and constitutional law. So I do not condone violence. I guess that puts me in the place I need to be according to Proverbs. Here's some crypto tips, because I love to give everyone crypto tips. This is the Bitcoin Otter Show. Now, we are going into, hopefully, the biggest bull market we have ever seen. And things are coming up with that. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, I want to give you all a T-Fuel alert. Now, everybody who's watched this show knows that I am a big fan. My favorite crypto is called Theta. Okay? It's from a group called Theta, and it has a lot of great potential. Patents, probably close to 20 by now, patents. Use case, forget about it. Use case, real world use cases. And these are going to be the ones, and I'm going to get into this again later, these are going to be the ones, the cryptos, that are really going to succeed in the long term. So, Alex, good to see you, brother. Glad you can make it and watch the Bitcoin Otter Show here with us. Please comment, guys. I got you popping up here. Please comment whenever you would like. On the other station here, I'm coming in. Don't see any comments yet. But the fact of the matter is this. This is a report. Let me back up the fact thing. This is a report, okay? This came out on X. The guy's handle is WickWack on X, right? Whoever it was needed it a lot, like 100 million worth of T-Fuel. Okay, there's a couple more things and I'll get into what this means. I saw volume spike from 5 million to 120 million in a very short time. These are dollars. Likely just one very large purchase that triggered a pump and then a bunch of selling. Okay, how did I corroborate this report? I looked at the chart. Man, it goes straight up on the 11th. So it was Saturday. I think it was the 11th, Saturday, right? And it went straight up in a matter of no time, man. It went almost to 10 cents. Now it's back down to 6.97 cents per a coin. What does this tell you? Holy tamale, we've got a minor emergency here in the studio. I think the sky fell, but we're going to survive. Joe's on it. Don't worry about it. The master of craftsmen is figuring out how to manage this studio mayhem. Thank you. No problem, Joe. These are the things we deal with. You know, if it was Hollywood, we'd have, well, I won't get into that right now. We're on Facebook, okay? We can't tell the truth about what it would be like in Hollywood. Thankfully, we're not there. So what's going on with T-Fuel, we believe, people like me, myself and fellow geeks, we think that it was possibly an exchange. Someone, a big buyer, went, not all in, of course, big buy, right? What does that mean? It means that they're setting up for sales, perhaps, circulation, perhaps, of T-Fuel in the future because, well, they're going to sell it. They want to buy it now at a cheap price. Hey, would you like to buy T-Fuel at a cheap price right now? Seeing as we got whales buying in at between 5 million and 120 million in a moment's notice? I'm sure you do. Hit me up. Bitcoin Otter at secure, SEKUR.com. Bitcoin Otter at secure.com. I'll square you away. Not a problem. Not at all. Anyway, or hit me up on Facebook. However you want to do this. Anyway, do you remember VentureMind? That was one of my tips 2 weeks ago. VentureMind AI. So VentureMind AI is going along with what we believe to be one of the themes of the AI narrative that's going to be following us, hopefully, because we're calling it, hopefully, throughout the bull run, both the Bitcoin bull run and especially the altcoin bull run of 2025. And we hope it's going to be a biggie. Anyway, VentureMind AI is connected to Theta. Yes, in case you forgot. It is connected to Theta. So it connects to Theta in a few different ways, but the use case, the valuable use case for VentureMind AI in its connection to Theta is that it has leveraged Theta's edge nodes and AI computing power, because you or me can run an edge node. I do. If you would like to learn, again, Bitcoin Otter at secure.com. Now, and I don't sell these things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to, hit you up for a bill. You're not going to receive an invoice. You're going to receive the best information I can give you with the knowledge I have. So what Theta does for VentureMind AI, because it is a wonderful use case, is it reduces drastically latency. If you have teenage kids that play these, first person shooter games or whatever, maybe the one where they jump out of the thing, they jump out of the balloon in the beginning, and then there's 100 people and they just, whatever. I can't remember the name of that game. Anyway, if you guys think of it, Marcos, good to see you coming up. Throw it out there. But anyway, they shoot each other, whatever. They're talking to their friends. They're talking to the other people in the game, and they get mad at their parents because we apparently buy cheap internet service, and they lag. Oh man, I'm lagging, and you hear them screaming, lagging. Anyway, with Theta, you're not going to lag that way. It's called latency, the technical term. And what the AI projects will get whenever they partner with Theta is a vast and drastically reduced amount of latency. T-Fuel was bought heavily. Okay? I guess that's the gist of it. Bitcoin news. Eric Trump and Michael Saylor meet at Mar-a-Lago. Now, you may not have heard me say Eric Trump a lot, but I know for a fact, if you've ever tuned into this, you've probably heard me say Michael Saylor he's the bomb, man. He is a Bitcoin maximalist, a maxi, right? So all Michael Saylor and his venture capitalist fund, MicroStrategy, all they do is buy Bitcoin. And then they sell investment products based on the Bitcoin they own. It's pretty cool, right? Man, is it cool. Billionaires. Michael Saylor, the MIT grad, is not only is he a lot smarter than me, but all he does is buy Bitcoin, and he can show you how to do it too. Now, they met at Mar-a-Lago, him and Eric Trump. On January 3rd, 2025, Eric Trump, executive vice president of the Trump Organization and son of President-elect Donald Trump, met with Michael Saylor, executive chairman of MicroStrategy at Mar-a-Lago. No, it's not at Mar-a-Lago, but they met at Mar-a-Lago. Analysts believe this meeting signals Saylor's involvement in future Bitcoin policies of the upcoming Trump administration. Gee willikers. So a guy who does nothing but buy Bitcoin is going to perhaps advise the Trumps on what to do with Bitcoin. Do you think he's going to be buying or at least advising it? I think so. Eric Trump described the meeting as two friends, one passion, Bitcoin. Yes. Which has caused a significant buzz in the Bitcoin community. Would you like to get Bitcoin at a bargain basement price? I'm sure you would, because I do. And what's crazy is that 100,000 might be that bargain basement. I'm not saying it will be. If you want to wait for a dip, be my guest. Be my guest, right? You do you. I am here to do nothing in the way of financial advisement. I am not a financial advisor. I don't wear a tie. I have no bona fides. Okay? None whatsoever. Colleges would not have me unless it was like a kegger and I was invited. But it probably wasn't official. Anyway, the largest Italian bank, Intesa Sanpaolo, buys Bitcoin. Oh, what's big about that, Otter? Well, it's the first one in Italy to buy Bitcoin. Intesa Sanpaolo, Italy's biggest bank. Oh, it's the biggest too. Go figure. Has entered the Bitcoin space and made the headlines with the purchase of 11 Bitcoin worth $1 million. This is the first time a bank in Italy has done this, and it's got everyone talking about digital assets in traditional finance, TradFi, traditional finance. If you know that, maybe you'll score some points at your next cocktail party or something, and people are talking about the stocks they're going to buy, and you're like, oh man, you're all steeped in TradFi. I'm over here doing DeFi, you know? How much better am I? I don't advise that. But the fact of the matter is, TradFi, if our bull market is going to be as good as we think it's going to be, TradFi is not necessarily the place to be. But again, I am not your financial advisor. I'm your Bitcoin Otter. So, this is a good one here. Oklahoma senator introduces Bitcoin Freedom Act. Wow, Bitcoin, freedom, they kind of go together. He says, this guy, Oklahoma Senator Dusty Devers. Wow, that's a name. That's almost a name. That name probably got this guy elected. I don't know. Dusty Devers filed for SB, Senate Bill 234, SB 234, if you want to look it up. Bitcoin Freedom Act, giving state residents and private companies more legal freedom to interact with Bitcoin. See, this is the opposite approach that the SEC has, the opposite approach that communism has towards Bitcoin. Yes. The bill, SB 3, wait a minute. They changed it from 234 to 325. Something to look up. I thought I copied and pasted. Maybe there's an error. And I think where did this come out of again? Bitcoin News. Might be an error, might not be. Anyway, this bill makes Bitcoin an optional payment method for salaries and transactions, ladies and gentlemen, within the state. Wouldn't that be cool to get your salary, if you're fortunate enough to have a job in the Bidenomics, Camelomics era, in Bitcoin? Get paid in Bitcoin? I mean, how cool is that? That is cool, man. And it'll be heard during the Oklahoma's 60th legislative session, which starts February 3. Senator Devers, a Republican, how do you figure, from Elgin, believes the Bitcoin Freedom Act is a way to combat inflation, which he says is eating away at the purchasing power of hardworking Oklahomans. You can see that again. I won't, but you can. Coin Bureau, use cases, not tech, will drive crypto adoption. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me see if I can explain this in the way I understand it. Use cases mean, is there a real world application for this particular project? Okay. Tech means, dude, I can do this, that, and the other thing with this technology, and this is the project that is selling the crypto for it. Okay. Two different categories, I would say. Now, you can make money. Okay. There's no question you can make money, a lot of it, if you pick the right tech tokens, by all means. However, the adoption of cryptocurrency comes with use cases. Can the average person use it? I'm not talking about, programmers. I'm not talking about, bloggers and so forth. I'm talking about the average person. How could the average person use cryptocurrency? And if they can, both easily use it and continuously use it because it serves a purpose for them, you're going to see more adoption. And I'll get into this a little bit later of how that all works. Now, what does it mean to see a greater or an increase in adoption? Well, it means that more people are going to be buying cryptos. More people buy cryptos, the price goes up because there's the demand portion of it, right? So what I'm thinking is something like Theta, real world case. This is just me. Again, I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm not an advisor. The report indicates that while North America and Western Europe have seen institutional adoption grow, especially after the U.S. Bitcoin ETF launch, retail adoption remains more robust in developing regions, meaning smaller countries. Why is that? Because they don't have the big banks. What do the big banks do? They hate Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom, ladies and gents. The banks are not about freedom. In fact, they're about the opposite. They're about debt slavery, and they want you in it. Yeah. Meanwhile, a study of security.org revealed significant growth in cryptocurrency ownership and enthusiasm in the U.S. as of early 2024. Crypto ownership among Americans reached 40%. I'm telling you, when I read this, I was very much surprised. How many of you think, okay, maybe come up on the comments if you like, how many of you thought, and who knows how accurate this is, 40% of Americans own crypto. Now, those could probably just be, the term, right? Starts with an S, ends with coin, right? Maybe that's them. But 40%. So that's up from 30% in 2023. Hey, I got a like here. Got a like over here. See if I could get the chat popping up on the Bitcoin Otter here. I don't see it, but that doesn't mean you're not there. Sorry if I can't see you. I got some few people over here. So, and again, I'm going to reiterate this. I'm going to, probably go at this again. I do believe that we are being, shadow banned, whatever. So, we see hundreds of views. It's just not live. For whatever reason, they don't want to see you all interact with me and my conspiracy theories. So be it. So be it. We're still doing it, right? Anyway, with over 93 million adults reportedly owning digital assets, interest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, right? Cardano is also in there. Ladies and gents, I have a friend of mine. Yeah, Conrad, if you're watching. He's a Cardano Maxian. I'm not so sure that he's wrong about it. Let me just throw that out there. Note, this survey of over 1,500 Americans was conducted before the SEC's approval of Bitcoin ETF. So probably a lot larger now, percentage-wise. This guy, if you've ever looked at crypto on YouTube, you've probably run into this guy. His name is Raul Pal, P-A-L. And the here's this guy. He is all about many things, but he really uses this ISM Purchasing Managers Index. He uses it to determine how big and how long the bull market's going to be. He's much smarter than me, and he's been at it for a lot longer. So you be the judge. In February of 21, the ISM was at 64.7 in February. Now, we're in January, and I'm talking about 21 for those of you who have not been initiated in the cyclic nature of cryptos. Every 4 years, and it follows along with the Bitcoin halving. And if you want to learn more about that, get with me, Bitcoin Otter at secure.com. Okay? Get with me. I'll teach you about that. I'll show you about that. No price, whatever. I'm not going to, it's not going to kill you, as Vince Vaughn said, in old school. So the index was at 64.7. It's still a 10-year high. And it started in February. Now we had the pandemic. We had all that craziness going on. I know. Okay. A lot of different reasons for it being that way. Now, this year, the ISM is currently at 49.3. According to this chart that I looked at, that's quite a bit lower. What does this mean, you ask? According to Raul Paul, the BTC/crypto bull market rises with the ISM. So when this ISM goes up, it either brings along or correlates with the bull market. If there's much room to rise in the ISM, then Raul Paul says that there is just that. Then there is a likelihood that there will be a lot of room for BTC. So, to put it succinctly, if the ISM is going to rise, and it was, at a high of 64.7, and it's below 50 now. What he's saying is, we got a lot of room, ladies and gents. We got a lot of room to make money if you want to, if you choose to, if this is something for you. Not forcing anybody into this, okay? Now, we're going to go into some current events. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, the place where I believe we are seeing our decline in Facebook engagement. Why? Well, because Facebook is not about truth. And what we are about here is truth, not just in the cryptocurrency realm, but in, current events, geopolitics, whatever you want to call it. Here's what I dug up throughout the week. This craziness. You want to come up? You want to talk about something? Please be my guest. Throw it up there. We'll talk about whatever. I will look at, read, reason with, whatever opinions you have. Anything goes. Please don't think that I'm going to censor you like I was Facebook or something. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not. So Grok on X. So when you pay them a few dollars a month, they give you this AI program. It's called Grok on X, right? It used to be Twitter. So in my prompt for, the return from the AI, I said, in total, how many people were suspected of arson in the most recent California wildfires? Now, I called it wildfires because most normies do. They're not wildfires, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing wild about this. Perhaps, the middle to the end stages were wild, but the initial stages usually belong to somebody holding a match. And those somebodies weren't normally United States citizens, should I say? Anyway, what did I receive? I received a bunch of different stuff, but 23 people have been arrested. Believe it, don't believe it, but I'm here to tell you, I'm not so sure they're wildfires. I'm pretty sure that they're after those financial or those federal dollars, those communists in California. Now, also, and I want to mention this, and I don't know if you're on, Jody, but a newfound friend of mine named Jody, he's on Facebook. You might see him once in a while in these comments here. He turned me on to a very compelling story, and it's the story of a woman. She's now 30, 31. Her name is Allie Carter. Okay. Now, just saying her name might mean we're going to have some technical difficulty. And I won't go into the details anymore because we're on Facebook, and the details would bring forth truth. And we know that Facebook is not a friend of truth. So they don't want anything about truth. They don't want anything about transparency. And they certainly don't want any scandals about the people they're trying to protect, criminals, in a word. Now, when Jody turned me on to this news, the podcast, I don't have TikTok. I'll be transparent. I don't have TikTok, but there's enough about Ms. Allie Carter on YouTube to let you know that you can watch her broadcast, usually on TikTok, in some sort of long form. So she has some fairly long broadcasts on TikTok and YouTube. I'll tell you, I was compelled. I'll get with you right in a minute, Matt. I was compelled by this young lady's. Let me just say this. She predicted in November of 24 that there would be fires in LA and Hollywood. To hide evidence. Makes sense. Matt says, XRP was in fuego today. Plus, their CEO is attending the inauguration. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, XRP, okay, is the flagship transactional crypto. What do I mean by that? I mean that it's all about financial transactions, international cross-border transactions. Now, the rumor is, I believe it's going to happen. I have a lot of reasons for that, but we've done a lot on crypto this show. So what I'm going to say is this. The railroad of transactions, financial transactions internationally, is supposed to be the XRP network. How do we know this? Well, 500 banks have already been issued their unique IDs internationally. Okay, that's one. They're loading up on XRP. That's two. A lot more, but I won't go into it. Bitcoin Otter at secure.com if you want to check out some more details. I'll give you some links, videos, whatever. Anyway, it went over $3. I mean, just months ago, it was in the maybe not 30, but 40 to 60 cent range. Okay, now it's $3. You're gonna ask me if you don't have any. You're gonna ask me, hey Otter, do you think it's too late? No. We're still in single digits here. $3 is single digits. I do not believe by any stretch of the imagination that XRP is going to be stopped anywhere below 10. This is my opinion. Got no bona fides, got no degrees on the wall, nor in any ledger of any institution of higher learning, nor did my shadow darken any of their doors. So when you're taking your financial advice, take it from yourself. If you want information, that's what I'm here for. I'm just not here to advise you financially. I don't have a tie anyway. So thank you, Matt, for that. Now, what I want to say right now is we're going out on 97.7 FM, KCYP, the city, okay, out of McAllen, Texas, deep, deep South Texas. But we're also on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on TuneIn Radio app, okay, and Radio Garden app. You can see this show in many different places, and we appreciate you tuning in, be it live or if you're watching at your own leisure. It's awesome. Thank you very much for watching. I try my best to give you information that will help you. I really do. I think anybody that's watched this show for any length of time could, vouch for that. Now, Zero Hedge. Armed LA residents patrol neighborhoods in violation of evacuation orders. Now, why would the residents be sticking around their homes? You know why, I know why, but communists want to pretend that we don't know why and that there's no reason to stick around your home because they don't believe that there's looters. Yeah. As we reported yesterday, says Zero Hedge, losses from the wildfires in Los Angeles County are poised to reach $250 billion or more. Property isn't only being destroyed, it's also being stolen by brazen looters. The neighbor of one LA County resident gave a disturbing description of what was going on in their street. There were like 100 people that came up on scooters and were trying to get into any and all houses on the street. You think that would happen in Texas? Maybe for a minute. Maybe for a minute. Then they'd have other problems. Anyway, I remember what I said to open up the show about violence. I have no patience for any of the police. Wealth management firm Ross Gerber told the Wall Street Journal, after you survive this, you don't care what they say. I can agree with this gentleman. I can agree with him. Toting a firearm, Gerber has been sneaking into and out of mandatory evacuation zone to check on his house. He says he's also joined neighbors in walking the streets and questioning those they don't recognize. Remember when we had a psyop where a guy was getting his head bashed in on a sidewalk? He defended himself, and the neighborhood terrorist got shot and killed. Now, the neighborhood terrorist, I guess the president of the United States at the time took a shine to this guy. And called him a kid, in that he possibly could have been his very own son. I think many of you know what I'm talking about, but there are psyops everywhere. And I'll tell you one. One is that firearms have no place in American society. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fake, phony, and false. LA County land grab fears ignite. This is again Zero Hedge. They're going to turn Altadena into one big apartment complex. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a fan of logic, you're going to know that there was a reason for these wildfires. No, they were not wild. They're fires. They were not wild. And it was no accident that the reservoir was empty. It was no accident that the mayor, Bass, was in Ghana, in Africa. It was no accident that she had cut $17.4 million from the Los Angeles Fire Department funding. These are not accidents, ladies and gentlemen. These are acts of communism. Yes, if you would like communism up front in your face, move to California. You'll find it. You'll see it. You'll be steeped in it and beat down by it. Anyway, fears of a land grab have erupted across fire-ravaged areas of Los Angeles County as local and state officials have already begun discussing plans for LA 2.0. Do you think maybe they had those plans before the fires? If you do, you're right on target. One user on X commented, "Tell me this was a planned demolition without telling me this was a planned demolition." Shadow of Ezra on X says, Governor Gavin Newsom, he said Newsom, I said Newscum, as Trump says, announces a sweeping plan to rebuild Los Angeles, dubbing it LA 2.0 under a Marshall Plan-inspired initiative that signals major changes for the city. Now, if you suspect any of these things, this is me. This is not anyone on X or Zero Hedge. If you think and you suspect that the 2020 plan, the new green scam is going to put some sort of spin on this, then you are, in my opinion, my humble opinion, exactly right and right on target. They had this plan, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it's a win-win for these freaks, because not only do they get to rebuild with, smart city concepts of, no single family homes, for instance, smart meters on everything, stack them up, as in the case of people, put the retail on the bottom, no parking, mind you, no parking, because you don't need a vehicle. You don't need to move. In fact, in their smart cities, you won't even be able to leave. Anyway, don't believe me. I'm just reading what I read. So, Newscomb reveals he's already mobilizing city officials, civic influencers, powerful business moguls, and labor unions to execute his vision. His vision is pure totalitarianism, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got company. He says that the region will be completely reorganized. Didn't we have a community organizer at one point? Wasn't this guy a community organizer that ran roughshod over the Constitution? If anybody knows his name, just pop it up there. Community organizer. Gee, I wonder. Anyway, again, the World Economic Forum is a heinous thing. What are we working on? Hey, we got about 15 minutes left. You guys want to pop up? You want to talk about something? Please let me know. If not, I will rattle on some more news for you. The Gateway Pundit says, "Where's Michelle?" She's certainly not here, I'll tell you that. I don't think there's enough room in this studio for Big Mike. Anyway, reportedly, she has not been seen publicly since September 29, 2024. She has missed Jimmy Carter's funeral, and reports say she will miss Donald Trump's inauguration. Wow, I wonder. I hope she hasn't gone wherever the Obama cook went. I hope that's not where she went. Rudy Giuliani settles with Georgia election workers. Now, if you're not familiar with this case, Rudy Giuliani saw some Georgia election workers in the 2020 election pull a huge container full of ballots out from under a table that was, had a carpet over the top or whatever it was, a towel, some sort of shield from view. Pull these ballots out and begin scanning the gee willikers out of these things in these machines right after they had a fictitious pipe burst in the arena that they were counting votes, which caused them, of course, to kick out all Republican poll watchers. So, like pretty much anyone else with half a brain, Giuliani says, wait a minute, this is where all the fraud comes in. This is where it happened. Look, the cameras are watching these people do this to us. Now, in response to his calling this out, the usual suspects announced that he reached a settlement agreement in a defamation case related to 2 Georgia election workers. These Georgia election workers, we can only hope, someday will face justice in a legal sense. A D.C. jury previously decided that Giuliani should pay $148 million in damages. Oh, man. How much do you think the damages of voter fraud cost the American public? Giuliani avoided trial and will be able to keep all of his personal belongings. Oh, isn't that nice? Here in America, you can keep your personal belongings. Oh, wow, we should feel so lucky. Including his Florida condo, New York apartment, jewelry, and other family heirlooms. Here's a winner. Maisie Hirono. Yeah, she's some Hawaii. Remember her from the Lahaina fires and her just saying just all kinds of off-the-wall things. Anyway, she asked Secretary of the Interior nominee. He's Trump's nominee for Interior Secretary. She asked him if he had ever committed sexual assault. First question, apparently. That was on her mind. You see, when certain people have certain ideations, they pretty much give away what they're all about by projecting it on other people. By projecting it on other people. Ladies and gentlemen, communists are masters of projection. They are able to project their crimes upon others because they feel, and to some degree it is a successful ploy, to deflect guilt from them and project the same guilt on others that are not really doing what they're doing. They're not really guilty. They're just being accused of doing the same thing. Now, this Doug Burgum guy called out the left's obsession with killing off America's energy independence and destroyed their narrative. It's not hard, ladies and gentlemen, but with a lockdown on truth, with gatekeepers such as Facebook, okay, such as YouTube, such as mainstream media, the average TV watcher who's been programmed since birth, probably, the average TV watcher doesn't get these things. They don't even see them, right? That's why they've done things the way they've done them with our feed here. America produces energy cleaner, smarter, and safer than anywhere in the world, said this Doug Burgum. When energy production is restricted in America, it doesn't reduce demand. It just shifts production to countries like Russia and Iran. He said some other stuff, but the fact of the matter is it shifts production because, see, Bidenomics and Kamalanomics are all about one thing: destroying American prosperity. And it works pretty well, as we can see from the last 4 years. This is on X. Another issue, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to close out pretty soon. Got a few minutes more. Ava, and wow, this beautiful woman, this Ava, she's on X. Vlardingerbroek. She's Dutch. She says on X that a group of underage asylum seekers brutally gang with an R. I don't know what they're going to do with us on Facebook here. RAPED, a 33-year-old Dutch homeless woman last year, and were just sentenced to a mere 4 to 15 months in a youth detention facility where they play cards and have board games. So this poor woman was left. I can't get into too much of this, but these 5 boys were aged 15 to 18, and they found the woman sleeping on a bench in the park. They dragged her into a quiet spot, and the rest is history. Brutally assaulted this woman. But you know what? They're asylum seekers, according to the European Union. They deserve special treatment. They're not, ladies and gentlemen, asylum seekers. They're seekers of something. They're seekers of something, and they see that Europeans and Americans and other countries have it. And you know what? They automatically believe that they're the owners of it. They're the owners of you, your family, and all of your property, because you don't believe what they believe. And I want to tell you something else. It's not just Muslims that believe this way, if you know what I mean. And we'll be saving this country for last. John B. Wells on X says, an important read, DJI, it's a drone manufacturer, removes no-fly zones just 1 week before January 20. What's January 20? The inauguration, ladies and gents. So this Chinese company, apparently they have some software that has a no-fly zone here in the U.S., meaning that their product won't work inside, let's say, the D.C. environs, something like that, or, zones where there's low-flying planes, airports, et cetera, et cetera. Well, let's just say that those no-fly zones kind of disappeared right around the time of the Donald Trump inauguration. You think that's a coincidence? Now, can anyone, just a pop quiz, can anyone name how many drones that the Secret Service had up on the day Donald Trump was shot? I'm not seeing anything pop up right now, and I know there's a delay, but I'm going to give you one guess, and if you guessed 0, ding, 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 you guessed right. So the would-be assassin, okay, just another Ponzi, or another patsy, ladies and gentlemen. We know it was just a patsy. The usual suspects were behind it. The same people that were behind not putting a sniper on the roofs because they were too slopey. Yeah. Now this would-be assassin was on a roof that was very slopey. and hit our president in the ear. So, could drones pose a security risk at the inauguration? Sharing for awareness. Stay alert. Ladies and gentlemen, we have many, many great things in store for us this year. One of them is going to happen, Lord willing, on the 20th. Let me digress just a moment, but not a real digression from our subject. There's a guy named Anthony Blinken. Okay, he's in the Obama, I will say it, the Obama administration, which has worked, through this conduit of a sack of meat called Joe Biden. And as Obama operates through the sack of meat, what we see is his administration, the regime, if you will, has people like Blinken, Anthony Blinken. This person, I won't use the term gentleman, this person, when exiting his position at the podium in some sort of press junket, said that this would be his last time at the podium there in Washington, D.C., unless an event occurred which would prompt his return. Don't believe the Otter. Don't believe me. Look it up your darn self. Blinken says that if an event were to happen, he wouldn't be leaving. Gee, what kind of event do you think he was talking about? I don't know, but it sounds kind of horrible. Sounds kind of commie with a Y, I guess, instead of the IE. Commie-ish, if you ask me. You didn't, but I'm giving that. I'm giving that as my 2 cents because guys like Blinken know things and they know what's planned. Maybe not all of it. It's compartmentalized. We know how those 3 letters work. But the fact of the matter is, just that he would say something like that leads one to believe, if they're not programmed and watching The View on a regular basis, then they're going to know the truth of the matter is that this guy, he really wants to stay in power. And he thinks that there's a vehicle that's going to bring him right back to his position of influence and corruption. That was me saying it, no one else. So look that up if you want a little bit of, how would you say, enlightenment, if you will. Now, we're going to sign off in a couple minutes, just a couple. But I want to tell you that I appreciate anyone and everyone that watches this show. I haven't seen a lot of comments, and there's a lot fewer than we normally have. And if you're trying to comment, but you haven't been able to, or I haven't been able to see it, I apologize. I don't know what the issue is. I've got my phone for the Bitcoin Otter feed, and I've got my phone for the Christopher Ott feed. So it's possible that we're not seeing all of what we could be seeing. Now, that said, I would like you to know that if you would like to get a hold of me, you can reach me at Bitcoin Otter at secure.com. So it says this has 4 views. And here they're popping up. Now they're popping up. Sue says XRP is $3.26. Preston says at least $10, brother. This is my opinion and not financial advice. Thanks, Preston. Also, Florida, they would be shot. Yes, exactly. Sue said, you shaved and a button-down shirt. You look so handsome. Thanks, Sue. Hi, Dad, if you're watching too. Jody says XRP is going to be strategic reserve, not Bitcoin. Thank you for that. I saw something about that, Jody. This has been announced by Trump. Yes, and yes. Matt said 0. That was an answer to how many drones were up in the area of the rally. Joe Tinoch says, go Trump. Matt says XRP is in fuego. I'm on. And Preston says, yep. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Man, I really appreciate you guys watching. They popped up, coincidentally at the end of the show. So what I would like to tell everyone is thank you for watching. If you can't get in on this because, whatever we're doing here, whatever jackassery is afoot, I want you to know that if you get in touch with me, I'll return. You want to message me here on Facebook. You want to hit up my page. You want to send me one of those messenger things. I tell you that I will respond. Okay, I will respond. This is what I'm here for. There's a long story to it. I can get into it offline, but suffice it to say that this is my passion: informing people of things that they may not know about, and me being informed by people who know things that I don't. Ladies and gents, the truth is out there. We need to share it. We need to know that there are others among us fighting this truth fight, this informational war, if you will, for truth and exposing lies and evil. Ellie Carter, ladies and gentlemen, Allly Carter. Look her up if you want to learn more about the horrible things that she's gone through and the people that abused her. You will know their names. You will know their names. Maybe that's why LA's burning. I don't know. Tunnels, the whole shebang. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America. God bless America. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week with more Bitcoin Otter. Thank you.
This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so